Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the fullness of Philly, where we talk about personal growth, where we talk about elevating, growing mentally. So if you're trying to grow mentally or if you're in the pursuit of greatness, this is the channel for you.
In a time where everything is fast-paced and we rarely get time to reflect and grow as people, this channel's ethos is to help us do this while promoting that walk with Christ. So join me, beautiful people, and let's grow together.
So I know you guys have noticed this is a little bit of a change of scenery and Philly's all dressed up. So what it is so I'm on a spa retreat with my family today, so a birthday occasion, and we are out here for about 3 days. It's been good. So I think this is the last day, the last night that we were on here. So we're gonna have dinner in a second, but I thought, let me share this from my heart to my gang, to my Phillies, to my lover, like my loved ones. I love you guys. So we got to grow, we got to keep that momentum going. I know you see from the title, it's knowing what works for your kind of person, or I may swap it around a bit. I don't know how I'm gonna title this, but it's essentially knowing what works for you as a person. What works for me, Philippa, may not work for Sally. What works for me, Philippa, may not work for Angela. What works for me, Philippa, may not work for Brianna. And that is okay. But as an individual, we are all different. We come from different heritage. We got different cultures. We come from different communities. We may all be, let's try and generalize, we may all be growing in the Lord, but we're all very different people, and that is okay. But because you're a different person to everybody, even those in your friendship group, certain things that work for them and their kind of person may not work for you. So you cannot go and apply what works for Sally on Philippa because it may not work. Let me give you an example. A few months ago, I took a friend's advice because I was getting some breakouts in my face. So I took a friend's advice. She said, "Oh, it'd be good if you wax your face." There's been a lot of good reviews on that. It's worked for me. My skin is clear now. Bear in mind, my skin was spotless before, but I was having some things that were giving me okay, this is new. What's the easiest way and the fastest way to eradicate, hairs from my face completely? So I took this advice. And I went to go, wax my face. And when I did it now, Lord and behold, I was cool the first few days. But a month later, we was in a shocker. We was in Philly was experiencing breakouts. And I was in a total shock because it's new to me. I don't know how to handle acne. I don't know how to handle all these things. And, I'm just so used to people saying, "Oh, Philly, your skin is so clear. How do you do it?" I say this to say, I applied what worked for Sally to Philippa without doing my own due diligence on myself, knowing what works for my skin, knowing what works for my body, knowing what works for me as a person. And where did I end up with that? Not in a good position. I had some regrets. Now, even though this is not quite big, it was big to me, but even though it's not something that it changes lives, little steps like this can change your life. If you keep making bad choices because you have not known what works for you as a person, you're not going to live a very happy life. Now, to gain more happiness in our life, we need to acquire more knowledge, especially in this day and age. How do we do this? In this particular, what we're talking about today is knowing ourselves so that we can act better in our community, know what works for us in every aspect. We start making better choices, eventually we become happier as people because we feel as though we're accomplishing things and things aren't getting messy. Sometimes it is the lack of knowledge or the lack of understanding that leads us into situations where we regret things or we wish we had done things otherwise. But if we know better, we can act better, and then we can eventually have better experiences. Let me try and give us another example so we can deepen our understanding. Let's say you go on holiday. You're going on holiday with a few friends, yeah? But you're a kind of person where you just like to be in the hotel room, see the views from your room, have room service, go wherever in the hotel, but you don't want to leave the place. But then your friends are the type of people that they like to go on adventures. They like to, roam around. They like to experience things. They like hiking. They like bungee jumping. They like just really experiencing the new country that they're in. But you're not that kind of person. You should know that you guys are going to clash. Not because they're bad people. Not because they have ulterior motives. But because they like different things than you. For you, what works for you is just being peaceful, enjoying the rest, having your Netflix on in that hotel room, enjoying the experience from your room. But they want to go out. And that's okay. But it doesn't work for both of you. It doesn't mean that you're not compatible as people who have similar interests, but in that particular area of these kind of experiences, you aren't. So you'll be doing yourself a favor by going on holiday with a person who is similar to you in that respect, that likes staying home, that has the same mindset of just enjoying the space, enjoying the environment, and not going out and not experiencing that. And no, you're not wrong for that. But what I'm trying to say to us guys is, once we understand these things, we can make better decisions, better choices, and in time become better and more wiser. It's very important to add that you have to know the kind of people that you're going to certain events with. Let's say we have a religious event, a church event, and you're inviting a few people. Not everybody is at the same mental state you are in terms of their journey with Christ or whatever it may be. You know that you cannot bring everybody to that event, because everybody may not understand that. Everybody may not be a part of that. Some people may find it boring. They may not be at that particular stage in their life where that is conducive for them. They may disagree with so many things. They may disrupt that. Not because they're bad people, but because they're not there yet. So you have to analyze and know, what kind of person am I dealing with? Would I be able to concentrate at my event, or will I be distracted? And how you know this is through the judgment of your experience with them so far and the way they have speak so far. You can't just go into things blindly. There has to be some sort of incentive behind it, because the reasoning behind it will give you some idea of what you'll be dealing with going forward. So many things in life we could have avoided if we had just thought ahead of time. Thought, okay, potentially this may happen. Potentially this is not the right person to bring along to this kind of event. Potentially, maybe I should think again about going to this event alone. Or potentially I should think again about staying at this party. All these, so many different occasions, so many different things. You just have to know what works for you. You have to know what works for your body. You have to know what works for your mind. We're all different, but this works in every area of our life. I don't want to be specific, but I don't want to be too vague, because this subject is very broad. I have to know. Let me give you another example. As a person, if I'm allergic to peanuts, and everyone at the table, they have trays of peanuts. Just because everyone is taking it, just because everyone is saying, look how tasty this is, look how nice this is, John, this is real good, try some, does not mean that I put my life at risk because everybody says it's good. What is good for John, what is good for Sally, what is good for Rebecca may not be good for Philippa. So you have to base everything individually. Or even sometimes when you're not sure about yourself, or you don't know yourself well enough, you begin to seek advice from people. And people can only give you a generic advice. People can only give you a safe option. For example, let's say I want to get into engineering. There are several routes into engineering, but because I don't know them, I'm seeking advice from someone, and they can give me one route that they know and has been successful. But for my situation, for who I am, for the things I've gone through in my life, for the grades I've got, for the area that I live, for geographical purposes, it may not be conducive for me. But because I lack that knowledge, I am taking this other person's knowledge. I'm taking this other person's understanding and taking and applying it to myself. So it's very essential that we do our own research, because what that can mean for us is that we take the longer route in life when we didn't have to take the longer route. Or even sometimes we have parents who want the best for us. They give us all kinds of advice. They say, oh, they want us to be doctors, they want us to be lawyers, which is great, which is good, but that may not be what's good for us. And life, everything is just advice. You have to make the decision for your life. You have to make the decision to navigate through, because we answer, at the end of the day, we answer to God and our own decisions. Guys, another thing is, what we need to realize is some of these experiences that I'm talking about, you actually have to go through life to actually know what works for you. For example, I may have had rare beef all my life and I may have loved it, but when I tried well done, I could have said, wow, it's like my eyes have opened to a new experience. I love it now. But if I never tried that, I wouldn't have known what was good for me. So you actually sometimes have to go through those experiences to know. And that's okay. Some of these things are actually trial and error, but I wouldn't say that there are different measurements to these kind of things. I wouldn't say steak is the same trial and error to marriage. That, you know, there's different levels. I wouldn't say keep trying until you get it right. you kind of have to measure it differently. And it's a lot to compact, guys, but once it's out there, once I say this, we can kind of digest and begin to start learning from it. But if it's never said, we can never change, we can never understand what's good for us, we can never even begin the process of developing. So I have to put it out there so that what sits with you, and you can do your own due diligence. You can do your own research and deepen your own understanding on this, because it's so broad, it's so big, it's so wild. Like, I can't contain this topic in one. But another thing, this day and age, it's so easy to get influenced by other people's idea of what's good for them. I heard a quote one time saying, we're all a copy of each other. So none of us are really an original, because we all see the style that we like and we want to replicate the style in our own way. We all see a meal that we like and we want to try and make it for ourselves. None of us are an individual, but that's fine. But we need to know what works for us. Don't just try and copy somebody else's whole lifestyle, or try and copy your whole friendship group's demeanor or persona, because that may not be, even where God wants to take you in life. That may not be your own destination. That may not be what works for you as an individual, for what works for your values, what works for your morals. That could be entirely different. But it is so easy to get sucked in. The other day I spoke about memes on my channel. These are things that we think are passing, but these things do register. These things do affect us on a daily. Our friendship group does affect us on a daily, because these are people that are similar to us in some respect. These are people that have some idea and it rubs off on us. That's why they say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are, because sometimes your friends do reflect an aspect of you. Or an aspect that you're going towards. So that's why we say that. But I want us as a group, as the fullness of Phillies, as people that are still growing, people that are becoming mentally charged, mentally stimulated, and beginning to know who we are as people in Christ, to know and to be firm, and to begin to understand who we are and what works for us. And this is around the spectrum. This is just not in one area. This is around the spectrum, and it takes time, because even Philly is still getting to know herself. But once you know and you're doing this due diligence, you're becoming aware of it, you can do better, you can elevate, and you can become your highest self with time. That's all I have for today, guys. I'm hungry, so I even need to find out where my family but thank you, guys. I love you guys, and please support your girl. Like, comment, subscribe. Subscribing to the channel, liking and commenting does help the flow of things. It does help me focus more on this channel, does help me dedicate more time to this channel. So if you want more content, guys, and more of my time. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Enjoy your day and keep on growing.